raindrops. We have a new year, a new look, a new visual, and a new lady. Yes, I
Hi.
am so excited to talk to who I consider to be one of the most iconic singers in a girl group, dancer, performer, creative director. Duh, I'm talking about Kiely Williams, who is in the Guinness Book of World Records for being in the most girl groups than any other female. Hey, Kiely.
Hey, I didn't know that. You tell me things. I learned so many new things. When we did the encore and somebody was like, I've sold more records than her. I couldn't argue with it because I legit didn't know how many records I sold. And then like on Twitter, when the episode was airing, they were like, no, she sold more than all of them added together. And I was like, oh, really? Well, I could have been a little bitchier about that then, couldn't I? Like,
You were in the fucking Cheetah Girls, which was an international girl group. So I think it goes without saying, you definitely sold the most records and those pockets run deep.
well, you know.
So look, I am so excited to talk to you. The thing about Kiely is she doesn't do a lot of interviews. Kiely lives a very private life, and a lot of people are missing you on television. They're missing your presence on Twitter. So before we get into all the good stuff, what have you been up to since the Encore has aired? It's been, I think, over a year. Where have you been, girl? Have you been in hiding? Do I need to add you to a milk carton? Are you miss like what's going on here?
Well, I had a baby. So that's what I've been doing. I've been really busy. She's 9 months now. I found out I was pregnant like right after the finale, like not maybe not right after, like a week or two after the finale aired. And I cannot, as soon as like you could tell when I found out I was pregnant to like when I felt emotionally ready to like enter the internet again, because like I just stopped. All social media stopped. Like it was over. There's like an end date and then they start up again. Because when I'm pregnant, I don't really like to deal with the internet. I like to deal with the internet as a regular person. And I feel like I'm a regular person, but then every now and then something knocks me back to like, oh shit, you're not that regular. Like I don't think any person that's been in the industry can really ever um be normal and just like, just talk shit to your friends on Twitter. Like I tweeted something about Idris Elba, and somebody was like, Kiely, it's 8 in the morning. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I said I would sit my stomach on his forehead. That's what I said. And they were like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So I forget sometimes that I'm not just, that some people do look at me and still I'm Kiely from Thrill W or Aqua from the Cheetah Girls or, whatever. So I can't do the internet when I'm pregnant. So if you ever
Well,
wonder if I'm pregnant, check and see if I've tweeted or posted anything. Because
I still
if I'm
need to
pregnant, I
know
won't.
why. I still need to know why you want to put your stomach on Idris Elba's forehead, my love.
Why would you not? What's your reasoning for denying it? What's the reason? I will sit it right up on there. I'm trying to lose a few more pounds, but if the opportunity presented itself, this whole forehead right on his, this whole stomach right on his forehead. Yes. Sorry, I love him. My husband knows. He's right here.
I was gonna say, what does your husband think about your adoration for Idris, honey?
He doesn't care. He doesn't. That he's like, girl, please. Like, I don't think he cares. He's never cared about stuff like that. Um, I say a lot of crazy things, and I think that's part of the reason why he loves me. I think.
Oh no. Well, listen, we all love you, and I want the world to know that. And this is no cap. Anyone who knows me knows I don't lie. I keep it real. I have been a Kiely fan ever since like 3LW, the Never Enough video where my girl in her fucking like baby blue sweatsuit was like dancing and like killing it. And like, I remember being in the 2000s and I was like, this girl is a star. So here we go, many years later. Here I am creating a show about former girl group members reuniting to form a supergroup, the Avengers of supergroups. And we cast Felicia and Fallon. We cast Farrah from Destiny's Child. We had, you know, some of these girls. And I remember thinking it would be so iconic if we're able to get Kiely because you are private, but you are like this celebrity that people just love to talk about. Like, if you mention
No, I don't
Kiely,
know why. I
I'm
mean,
gonna
I
tell
don't
you
know.
why.
There's a myriad of reasons why. It's been my entire career. I've always said something that was a little bit off. I've always missed the mark just enough, and um, it got people talking. Even when I think that what I'm doing is completely benign, I think I'm being very boring. I thought I was incredibly boring on the Encore, and still they were mad. It was like, I mean, but I like it. I think it's funny. I enjoy that. Somebody once told me I sucked all the energy out of the room, and I think that's kind of a pretty good compliment in this industry. Leave them gagging, bitch, gagging.
Yes! No, you left the girls gagging, and I was gagging when you decided to do the show. And then what people don't know is the Encore was like 7 years in the making. But let's get started with this. What made you want to do reality TV and to do a show with this concept that was very different?
So, um, I've always been on the fence about reality TV. I love reality TV. I always thought that I would be fun on reality TV, um, because I think I have an interesting personality. But I was always on the fence about it because I can um, I can be a little bit uh, not likable, for lack of a better expression. So I was always on the fence about that. But what made me want to do the show is you. I mean, talking to you about your passion and just I felt like you were one of the I've met a lot of TV producers, not for reality specifically, but just television producers in my career. And I just felt like you were so genuine. I felt like you were one of the people that I respected enough that you could kind of put me in my place. Like you can humble me, which is rare in the sense that I don't really respect very many people. So your opinion's not going to mean very much. But you, I just had this like attraction to. And so I was like, okay, if Carlos wants to do it, like, okay, we could try it. I don't want to be in a girl group, and I never really did. But I'm so happy that I ended up doing it again because um, it's actually one of my favorite girl group that I was ever in. Um, I
Oh,
think it's
really?
because all of us were adults. All of us were very um, sure of what we were able to do, and the four of us. I'm not including Pam. But the four of us were very confident in what we were able to do. So there was never any, what I perceived as pettiness, jealousy, all that kind of little stuff. Um, of course, we only interacted with each other for a really small amount of time, but um, I saw that it was possible going forward, but there wouldn't be an issue with, oh, she's singing this part and I'm not singing this part. Oh, she's in the middle for the dance part and I'm not in the middle. It's like, no, bitch, you can dance, so I'm gonna be in the fucking middle. That's what I'm doing. That's what I do. Stop it. Shamari, hit the high note. Like, just go, go, go. Felicia, give me a record. Fallon, make us do the record, and like all of that mixed together. I think that's really what would keep a girl group running in today's society because I don't really think that's very possible. So the fact that we were able to do it and the fact that I think that we probably could keep doing it, um, I thought it was a good. You did good with your casting. Okay, you did well, sir.
Well, thank you for that. And you did well because we saw on the Encore this trajectory of you coming. First of all, Kiely is, well, listen, you to me are the Lisa Rinna of the Encore.
That's not a compliment. She is not my
No,
favorite housewife, sir.
no, I'm gonna tell you what it is. I'm gonna tell you what it is. You don't give a fuck what people think about you, right? You're like, okay, you are in on the joke. You get it. You're not so self-absorbed where you're like this narcissistic person, right? Not,
Right.
you know, besides you being celebrity, you get it. I mean, the fact that you knew, okay, I'm in the studio, there's a microphone in front of me, I'm going to sing broken promises.
Promises,
Like,
sir.
what is it?
Say it right. It's promises. Okay. I mean, I could laugh at myself. Why not? Everybody else is. Like, I mean, you know, and I can't convince them I don't have a list. They don't listen to anything that I've done, like after that song, apparently, and didn't notice that I didn't have it in any of the movies I've ever done. But they want to say that, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I like that it's so memorable in people's hearts. Like they don't really know the name of the song. The song is Promises. And I'm like, yep, that's what it is.
So for the record,
I need your money.
royalties, please. So for the record, you do not have a list.
No, but I do find that when I'm talking about it, sometimes my tongue gets tied sometimes. But I like speak it into existence. But no, I don't. And like I'll like post a video and they'll be like, "Oh, you can tell she's trying so hard not to have that list." And I'm like, "I don't." Well, you know what? Yes, bitch, I do. Okay. What you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna spend the rest of your life fighting people who don't know you, who will never know you, who don't really care that much? Like, don't just get in on the joke. It's funny, okay?
No, and that's why I love you because you and I are the same in that sense. Like people talk about me, I don't give a shit. Like I feel like I don't know you guys. You don't know me personally. I interact with those who love me. If you don't fuck with me, it's fine. Let's just joke about you not fucking with me. And if you have a funny joke about me, I'm gonna like it. I may even repost it because I just don't give a shit. And that's the reason why it was such a joy working with you on the Encore because you just got it. Like you walked in the house knowing that you were about to start World War III with telling the girls, I want to be, no, I am the creative director, and I'm going to give some behind the scenes tea.
Thank you. Vindicate me.
I'm going to vindicate you. So, breaking news, Nanny 911 exclusive. So I've been working on this show for like 7 years, right? The show got leaked through someone else's former assistant. I won't go there. And BET decided to pick it up because Gabrielle
when
Union.
COVID happened and everybody decided I was alive again, I was like, God damn it. It was like for 3 weeks, like there was just new news stories about me. And I'm like, y'all, you resurrected me out of obscurity. I'm not Lazarus. Leave me alone. Now I did have a list. But I literally said to myself when that clip came and I saw it, I said, oh my God, Carlos is going to call me. And my sister was like, you're going to be so mad. You're going to be so mad if Carlos calls you. And we were sitting outside my house with my husband, and it was me and my sister. And sure enough, like a week later, you were like, hi. And I was like, oh my God. I didn't do anything. That was years ago. And I technically did not say anything. I mean, you know.
No,
it's me breaking. I think it's me breaking the fourth wall a lot.
Well, the thing was, listen, everything happens for a reason. And when this person decided to leak it, Melody Thornton called me, like, girl, what's going on? D Woods called me, like, everybody was like, what's happening? Long story short, BT executive caught that, said, let's do this. We did it together. And I had to contact the former cast that I built this with because we did 2 pilots, 2 networks passed on it, and we were like, okay, it's not meant to be. Then BET picked it up. I did contact Kiely. Kiely said to me, so this is exclusive. Kiely said to me, I have no desire to be in a girl group. I want to be the creative director. That's what I want my contribution to be. As a reality TV producer, our job is to follow the reality. That's my mantra. I follow the reality. I said to Kiely, if you want to be the creative director, it's not my decision. What you should do is go in the house and tell the girls. Like, I support that that's what you want to do. You want to be the creative director. I think it's dope. They need a creative director. It should be you. So guess what? Let the girls know and let's see what happens. So Kiely did get permission from me. She did say it to me. I was cool with it. I didn't give a shit because I thought when you have
shit.
Yeah.
No, you in the back of your mind were like, she gonna be in this group. I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get her. Don't worry. I'm gonna get her. And you did.
No,
you did.
This is the gag. This is the
you
gag.
Didn't say it to me directly, but the circumstances shifted, and I think it's because I get very much to my chagrin, I get very attached. I can very quickly form bonds and empathize, and I felt like the situation needed to. All this couldn't have been for nothing. So when we got to the stage where, when we got to the point where Nivea left, I felt like shit. Like, I don't know how we're gonna bridge this gap between the twins and Shamari. I don't know what will fix it except for helping. And the only way that I could help at that point was to just jump in there. Very dedicated. They've got a lot of confidence in themselves and their contribution. Shamari takes a bit of a different approach. And so we didn't have that lightheartedness anymore. And I felt like the group would suffer for that we couldn't just go out there. At the time Pam was there, but Pam was always doing her own thing. I mean, she was never doing what we were doing, right? I didn't think there was any way to bridge that. So here, sign me up, coach. I'm in. And I mean, that's not the first time that's happened. I remember another group that I was working on. They were called Screw Destiny. I hated the name. It's like, why? Just Destiny Child fans are just gonna hate that. Like, I don't care where it's a Greek thing, whatever, blah blah. It's a terrible name. But at one point, I was like, you know what? This girl has to go, and if I have to fill in for her for a little bit, then I will, because, like, you gotta go. You're not working for us for the betterment of the group. Because at the end of the day, everybody was working so hard. So, like, the hours on that set were insane. Everybody was complaining, like, why are their rooms so messy? Bitch, we don't have time to clean. Anybody got time for, like, nobody has time to clean anything. Like, at all. So that's what I had to do.
Yeah, and before we get into BluPrint of it all, I want to go back a little bit to the experience of the Encore and being in the house. Were you surprised that you and Aubrey had that friction in the house, although you two came in as being somebody who obviously, were cordial?
No. I absolutely, I knew all of those things were going to happen. Because, I mean, like, I don't know. I talked to her before. Like, so I knew all this. I knew how she felt about everything, and I knew what she was going to try to do. And I knew that at that point, once she tried to split up the girls, I knew at that point that we were going to become adversarial, because I knew that that's not what the show was about. I knew that that wasn't going to happen, right? But I also knew that it is a way of negging people, right? So you come in, you say, I don't feel like you're worthy of working with me. Like, I just don't feel it. And then you flip it, and now I do feel that you're worthy. So then all of a sudden, that makes them feel like, oh, maybe she's seen something in me. No, she doesn't see shit in you. She just wants to curry favor. But I knew that that's how she was going to be. I also knew that I was never, ever going to curry favor with anybody. I was going to just do what the fuck I do, and I'm going to keep doing that, stay consistent, and the real ones will see. And the ones who can't see will just watch it and realize that they were hoodwinked, run amok.
Because you thought at one point, did you think at one point she was trying to recreate Danity Kane DK3 by having the twins be in her group?
Oh my, I mean, that vision vision board that she had when we hadn't even discussed what each person wants to bring to the group, what their personalities were. I was like, this is really premature. And yes, it looks all sparkly and pretty, I guess, that you taped some pictures to a board, but I know that those are pictures that you had in your phone labeled Danity or DC3 or DK3 pictures or something. So she had all of these very nude, monotone images of multiracial girls posing. And it's like, that's the vision. And I'm like, girl, that's not a vision for this group. That's a vision that you have for your old group and that you know that you can translate onto here. But how's that going to fit Misha? How is that going to fit Irish? How is that going to fit Nivea or the twins or Shamari? It just didn't seem to me that it was more of a, I mean, if we were men, it'd be like Billy Big Dick, but it seemed to me that it was more about winning at that point. And so for me, I was like, you can try to win, but I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to let you leave, and I'm going to give you enough room to hang yourself, which is what my mother always taught me to do. And they always do. I mean, eventually they always reveal themselves. So you don't have to do a lot of work. And like, even that she had that big explosive cursing me out, shut the fuck up, Kiely. I don't remember exactly what she said, but it was in response to me saying, she's faker than my Birkin. She was calling me, talking about how much she loves me, and this, that, and the third, the days and weeks leading up to the show. And she was like, it's COVID. Nobody's making any money. Let's just go make this money really quick. Blah, 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 blah. This, that, and third. And I'm like, oh, now you're really dedicated to music and you want it to work. Like, stop it. Stop. So, I mean, I've dealt with people like her before, and all I had to do was just give it time. Just give it time.
You also gave time to not touch Pam because she revealed.
You know what? I really grew to have a lot of respect for Pamela in the sense that whatever she was fighting, whatever her convictions, whatever demons she was battling, she really made her boundaries very clear. And even in that moment, it was not even conscious to try to pull back my arm. It was just like, oh, I remember her boundaries. I'm not going to cross those. Also, I was not trying to get beat the fuck up. And, you know.
That was your thing throughout the whole house. Do not get beat the fuck up.
Look, I knew that if I fought somebody, I was going to get talked out of a job. And I knew that I have a slick mouth and I could get like backhanded. So I walked a fine line between speaking my truth, but also knowing when to shut the fuck up. That's really important too when you're working with artists. So for a long time in the house, I was dealing with them like they're artists. If they want to vent and go crazy and call me a bitch and lose their minds over some dumb shit, go ahead. At the end of the day, get the job done, say whatever you have to say to make them happy, and keep it pushing. So in that sense, nobody really hurt me. It was just a mind fuck sometimes in the house because it would just, the mood of the house would switch so quickly that I was like, I don't have enough medication for this. Like, I literally do not have enough medicine to level out all of these personalities, all of these moods. I mean, that's a house with 4 Geminis. We were like, what? My cancer asked my heart. But you know, I always say the twins and Misha and Irish remind me of my mother at different stages of her life.
Really? How?
Well, my mom's a Gemini and she's also bipolar. So I see a lot of my mom's her creative side, that passion, that passion that almost comes out aggressive in the twins, right? Because they feel what they are saying. They're not just saying it like for no reason. They feel it. And my mother is very passionate like that. I mean, when she writes a song, that she's giving her heart. When my mom when she had some manic episodes and was off meds and would get a little wild. That's when Misha and Irish, I was like, okay, I see that happening. I see you pushed up against a wall and you're going to fight your way out. And I really tried to connect with them. Unfortunately, it's funny because I came into the house really, really like with my heart open to them because I felt like they were being written off. And so
Yes.
I tried for weeks to just get through to them that you can prove yourself here. But they didn't want to prove themselves. And I think that that was one of the hardest parts um, in the house is that yeah, we could all acknowledge what each other has done, but we also still every day have to show up and prove yourself. Show up and prove your value. Whatever it is that you do, you need to do it every day. So if you're going to be the beauty, if you're going to be the fashion, if you're going to be the writer, the producer, the singer, the personality, whatever it is, you got to show up every day. You have to do that thing, do the thing, right? And I just I don't think they could. I think when they saw the twins, they had a lot of trauma from their old girl group that just immediately kind of popped up, and they couldn't see past that. They were like, "You're on every record. You're on this that," and I'm sitting here thinking, "I don't want to be on no damn record anyway. It's fine. Like I don't need to sing shit. What do I have to sing something? Okay, because I'm not. I said this to you when we first met. I'm no singing bitch. Okay, it's not what I do. And once you recognize that that's not what you do, you're not going to be insecure about somebody else doing it. Take it away, Shamaya. Sing, girl. Sing. That was always me. I love that. And like, I know that I will give you tone. I will hit you with a little on the first verse.
Oh, the low octave.
The low octave. And she gets she gets upset about that because she's like, I really meant that. And I'm like, I know you do. I know you do. And you have to know them to understand that it's not shade. Like there are people that were serving lots of side shade, okay, on that show. But the twins weren't serving you shot. The twins weren't serving you side shade. It would be just straight up a mollywop you with this branch, but not side shade. So the low octave was like, oh, is that what she's doing? She's doing the low octave. Oh, okay, do it. So I didn't take it as shade. I'm so close to the twins. You know that.
No, I know that, and we'll get to them too. So the world wants to know what happened to BluPrint. We saw this iconic performance. We saw you guys kill it on stage, and you know me, I don't gas you up, and I'm sure you saw this. First of all, 10 episodes, 10 weeks straight. You trended every week. The show trended every week. Kiely trended every week. The reason why people love to hate you or hate to love you, you're polarizing. There's something about you to where people cannot take their eyes off of you. So then you get on stage, and you know how Beyonce talks about Sasha Fierce? I don't know what it is that comes out of you when you are on stage, Kiely. It's like something we've never seen, and everybody who counted you out, they all said this. At the end of that day, that bitch can perform. She's a star. They all said Kiely is a star. And they saw that. So we saw the performance. The songs were great. It was just amazing. So what happened to where we didn't see any visuals, we didn't see any promotion? What happened?
Yeah. Well, in the nicest way possible. We didn't have the infrastructure to take it to where it needed to be. Unfortunately, the way the industry is set up nowadays is that you really do need that organic cult following, right? And so the idea was that springboarding from the show, we would have that following. And then we ran into a lot of businessy, weird complications. And I think at that point, when all of that is happening towards the end, leading up to the finale, not me, but everybody, the other girls, started to get really excited about the prospect of what's next. And I don't mean to, yeah, I guess Debbie Downer, the sad puppy in the corner that's like, I don't think so, guys. It's not working the way it's supposed to be working. It's not giving what needs to be gave. I would give it another shot, but I was
At the
sad
time,
about
at the time, what wasn't giving what was supposed to be give or gave rather?
promotion, money, infrastructure. Like there were so many things that we didn't have to deal with inside the house that we then had to deal with outside of the house. Like so and I mean I don't want this to be like an I told you and I told you and I told you and I told you. I don't want to turn into that, but like licensing the name BluPrint. Um I was asking when they were like, we need you guys to come up with a name. I kept going, okay, they came up with this name. They like this name. Felicia came up with it. We like it. Can we use it? And they were like, okay, let's get back to you. And they'll get back to us. And it was licensed, but just for television, just for that show. So that doesn't translate over into music. And those were questions I was asking constantly. Like, how is this going to work after if this is the point, you know? And at the end of the day, it kind of just fell on us. And that was hard. And then I got pregnant, which I think was kind of serendipitous because I think I would have continued BluPrint even if I was pregnant. But I do think that maybe that pause was a little bit necessary. I think that maybe keeping the relationships the way that they were, letting everybody kind of explore whatever they wanted to do outside of the show. I think that that's kind of a blessing, and maybe we could come back and give it another stab. Because, like I said, I do think that it was a really great girl group. I do think that we had everything within us in place. Like that was the right cast of characters. That was the right setup. That's visually what it needed to look like. That is, vocally what it needs to sound like. That is performance what it needed to be. I mean, I feel like that was a good starting point. I think there's so much more that could be done. But I just feel like we need to put the horse before the cart in this instance.
Yeah, and for me to break it down to my viewers and listeners, obviously what you're saying is the group was obviously made within the structure of this reality show, right? It was sort of like at some point it became the game of Survivor. Like it's the five of us left in the house, so I guess we're a group now, right? And then reality set in when, oh wait, we shot to number one on iTunes. That's obviously a great thing. But people fuck with the music. Wait, people are fucking with the visual of this group. Okay. And one of the things that we set in place, when I say we, is myself and the network, was we knew that in this industry, it was important that the ladies had ownership because the purpose of this girl group in the makings, rather, was there isn't this man telling you girls what to do, how to sound, because that's one of the five reasons why girl groups don't last. There's always a man in your ear telling you you're the star, you need to go solo, or he may be sleeping with one of the members. All of those things happen. So we want to make sure that the girls were set up to have ownership because ownership is important in this day and age. But to your point, Kiely, what happened was there's no infrastructure. There's not a label attached to us. We don't have management. It became so crazy, and I'll reveal this. I love the girls, and everyone knows that. Like, I am passionate when it comes to my cast. I even elected to manage BluPrint. That's how it was.
And I wanted that. I wanted that. I was like, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, no, I'll tell my listeners and audience this. I hired a music attorney to get the paperwork in place. I wanted to at least say, you guys have somebody who you trust. Because at that point, listen, the show was airing. People were, Carlos this, Carlos that. And, there was tons of phone calls. So I was already managing the personalities and managing the emotions. So for me, it wasn't going to be anything far fetched. I'm rep by a big agency. I have a lot of things in place. And that was my way of saying, like, no. And I remember saying to you ladies on a conference call, I said, you ladies have, I think it was Felicia who asked this. She said, what is your vision with BluPrint? And I was like, yes, bitch, you better ask me a business question. And I said, I want to make you guys as big as Destiny's Child. Like I know that you guys can be the Destiny's Child of this generation and having endorsements and performing at award shows. Like I have this vision. Long story short, it didn't work out. Obviously, like you said, you got pregnant, but I was so disappointed, just being honest, because I felt like we did something magical. It was organic. I felt like the Lord was on our side. But one thing you always said since the beginning of the time we met 7 years ago was girl groups don't last for a myriad of reasons. And it took me to go through that experience to be like, okay, I now see what she's saying, but is there a way for us to get past this girl group curse?
Well, I don't consider BluPrint as broken up. Now, you can ask the other members of BluPrint. There was never any kind of formal breakup. We were all kind of waiting on a next season.
Yes.
And I think that that is kind of where our story is right now. What would happen if I mean, I'm guessing I'm gonna have to eat a lot of crow and apologize and be sorry because I had a baby. But I don't see anything that would keep us from rekindle. We don't have any bad blood. There wasn't a breakup. Nobody went solo. Nobody has done anything outside of what they would normally do. I mean, Felicia's still producing, Fallon's still writing, Shamari is still, I think she's, on some reality shows, with her husband, doing that. I'm still creative directing. I'm still being a homeroom mom. I'm still doing exactly what I can do. I can still hit that 8 count like you wouldn't believe. But I mean, it really all just depends on how the girls feel, how they, not even the girls, the women, because I think that's such a giant distinction. We're grown women. We have families. Yeah. We have lives. We have things that bring us joy outside of this. And so, what would be the pull? What are we proving? Because we've already proven that it can be done. We've proven that it can be cute. So I think we just need to kind of talk a little bit more. I mean, when I talk to Fallon and Felicia, it's usually talking shit. They talking shit. Me badgering Felicia about when she's gonna have a baby for me. That kind of stuff.
So that's good that you
really
ladies
explored that.
That's good that you ladies are still in touch. And I love that you said, and this is an exclusive, BluPrint is not broken up. So we can say maybe
there's never been anything official.
Right. Life was happening around you guys. So what happened where Pam left the group and then it was just the four of you ladies?
So we needed to incorporate for money purposes, obviously. You do an album together collectively, you gotta the money all has to go someplace, okay? And then you separate it and divvy it up and get an accountant and all that stuff. This is all part of the infrastructure thing that we have to all agree on. It can't be just, we didn't have a production company that would just make those decisions. We were ourselves self-governing, right? So I'm like, all right, Fallon and Felicia, you guys take the licensing of the music and the streaming and all that stuff. And I will take like incorporating and, getting all the taxes and stuff and all that stuff ready. Well, Pam did not like any of the terms in the agreement. She didn't like any of the terms of incorporation, even though I was like, first draft, red line, do whatever you need. to make you feel comfortable. I'm not trying to steal anybody's money. I don't care. I mean, I have to do it. Somebody has to do it. And that's how we agreed to do it. And she made a lot of assertions and a lot of assumptions about not just me, but Fallon and Felicia that led me to believe that she really just, she wanted her check. Okay. And she didn't want to be a part of anything else after that. And it made sense to me. I was fine with that because I love the song that Pam did on the BluPrint record, but it truly was a feature. I mean, it was BluPrint singing gospel with Pam, a gospel artist. And you know, there was no real way to bridge that gap. I remember there was talk about like, oh, it could be so cool because we're like the sexy R&B group and we also do gospel. And I was like, it's just not authentic. It's just, I mean, that's even why I wanted it right before talking, because I was like, I want there to be a clear distinction that this isn't what we do. We're doing this to accommodate Pam because she never did anything to make the house go, you're not gonna fit. She always, you know, stayed in her lane, stayed very quiet, but she also stayed in the studio the entire time writing was happening. And even if she didn't contribute anything, kind of called back on this really antiquated rule called the Nashville rule, which is basically if you're in the room and a song is written, then you get a percentage of the song. Well, if that's the case, then the crew and the cameramen were entitled to a portion of the records. It's not. I mean, it's an antiquated rule. And like a lot of deep hardcore songwriters believe that, you know, a dog or a cat or anybody who's in the room can change the mood and the vibe and therefore are entitled to the creation and to they contributed to the creation and therefore are entitled to the publishing. I do not believe that. And I thought it was really unfair, especially to Fallon and Felicia, who are doing the bulk of the heavy lifting and the songwriting. And I didn't feel like it was cute at all to be in dispute over records that you know you didn't write. Like, I don't care if you were in the room. I don't care. Like, if a writer writes an entire song and you add like a couple oohs, that's not writing. Like, that's not it. Okay. If you change a lyric because you're uncomfortable saying ass and you change it to butt, you don't get writer's credit on that. And she was trying to make those kind of assertions, which I thought were really unfair because we would change things not because we wanted to, but to suit you. And then you would then use that as a claim to publishing ownership. When I would be, if I changed a lyric and something because I fucked up and I didn't know the right word and I just sung it and the producer kept it, or Fallon or Felicia kept it, I'm not going to claim I have writer's credit on it. I'm not going to do that, you know? So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And then that just, all that kind of businessy stuff started to give me the ick. And then I think I sent her photos for approval and she was like, she saw herself next to us, I think. And that was done. That was it for her. So that's that on Pam. But, you know, look, I can't begrudge her for not wanting to participate. I can say that the issue with the publishing was something that I was willing to fight for, even though it wasn't my publishing to fight for. It's just not what you do. It's just not cool in business. And so I knew that wasn't going to be a workable relationship in the future.
So if we decide to bring the show back and BluPrint is back, what would you like to see in terms of what the future of BluPrint can possibly be? Because the fans want it. They want the talking music video. You guys have this, and I can say this watching you all in the house for 30 fucking days. Listen, there were lots of ups and downs, but listen, I have a team of people. You know, I have a team of showrunners. You know, Brent, your favorite EP, right? Like, we all go through it, but it's because we're building a relationship and a foundation. So all the stuff you ladies, right, poor Brent, but all the stuff you ladies went through, I always felt like it was growing pains. because you had to get to know each other and knew what each person's role was in terms of this group. So with that being said, if BluPrint could come back, what would you like the future of the group to be?
You know, I thought about it a lot right after the show, right? Because you know, you're all in your head like, oh, this shit gonna pop off. Seasons. No. Um, but I did think about it a lot in the beginning of doing a tour and bringing some of the girls back. And I mean, ever so often when I get a clip of like 702 performing before Irish got sick, I'd be like, oh my God, a cold open of me and Fallon just in the back seat or the back row of the strip club that 702 is performing at, trying to help. Like, girls, can we come together? Can we do something?
That strip club.
Yes. I do see, you know, some of that, but I think it'd be nice to just see us living our lives and trying to, as adult women, navigate our lives outside of the house without people telling us what to do. Because yes, we were self-governing, but there was a set of rules, right? We were in a house, a high stress situation where, yes, a lot of it was how it is in the music industry, but there's also, it's not as high stakes because there was a time limit and there was a show that had to be done, and we didn't really get anything together until like 3 days before the show. Everything
But
we
y'all
were just
pulled it
fighting.
off. Yes, but that's the thing. I don't think you ladies get enough credit. Like the production, meaning the producers, myself, we had nothing to do with the outcome of the performance. Like, and I want the world to know, like, these ladies truly did it themselves in terms of
I felt abandoned. I will be honest with you. When that man tried to try me about the clothes, I did feel abandoned. I was like, y'all gonna let us come? No, you're gonna let us wear this? You are really gonna let us wear? No, you're not. I don't care. I'm gonna come out my own pocket. I think the only people that paid, it was just me, Felicia, and Fallon that paid. But I don't care. We were like, we're not wearing any of that. I don't care if I'm paying for everybody. Like, call somebody. Felicia, you used to live here. You know somebody here. Get them here. Get her here. Get her here now. Let's do it. Let's go. You want Venmo, Zelle, how, Cash App? Like, that's how we did it. Because in a very real sense, it got to a point where I did keep telling everyone on the production side, but it's going to get to a point where shit gets really real. Like, there's a real show that's going to happen. And for all of the talk about what can happen, like, we have to be realistic about what is going to happen, you know? Like, we can be like, oh, it's going to be this big show, and no, what it's going to be is an amphitheater, and we're going to have to try to make it the best we can. And we can't have all these crazy props, and it's not the fucking VMAs, okay? We're going to have to show what we could do. Bring that couch over here from the house. Yep, that's a prop. We need that. Like, but that's really what it is, because, and I think that's fun because we're all established artists who really had to do something that very, very much was a new artist thing. It was very much. And you could see for some people, Aubrey, she was not happy at all with the process. As much as she wanted to win against me, as much as she wanted to win, she could not go back to that new artist shit because it's humbling. I mean, in the most uncomfortable of ways. You know, I'm used to performing at stadiums and sold out arenas, and now I'm at like a school amphitheater. But it's okay. I'm still gonna kill it. I will wreck this shit. Okay, I will perform like I am performing at the Grammys every single time in my basement. I don't care. That's how I am. And if it's in you, it's gonna come out of you. You're not gonna be able to keep it down. So I think in that sense, it was cool to see these established, seasoned artists go back to the beginning, you know, and start over. For the future, I think it'd be interesting to see how we could navigate real life and try to maintain a girl group. I don't know how possible it is, but I do think, you know, it would be interesting to see how outside influences, because we only had those influences that were in the house. how those outside influences, besides, like Cosign and Elijah and um
Aaliyah.
Leah and like all those other people that were brought in, but like our husbands and boyfriends, like if a husband doesn't fuck with one of your group members, like if he gets a bad feeling, if he has opinions about what we're wearing, or your friends don't get along, like how does that work out? How do you do that? Because you can get along with a person with work, and then they meet your friends and they're like, oh, you're different, you change around her, you're not like Sabrina could not understand. She was like, she met the twins before she saw the show. Like when I came out to LA for like some like interviews or something. We all had dinner. We had a great time. We were like kiki, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's my best friend. Those my other friends." Like everybody loves each other. She saw the show and she was like, "Kiely, what the fuck? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Why did you let me like them? How dare you?" And I was like, "No, baby, you have to just let it marinate. Let it She's like, "They're so mean to you." And I'm like, "It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. Like, you got to let
The
people."
journey, yeah.
It's a journey. And somebody tweeted, they were like, they're fighting now, but watch, by the end of it, it's going to be like, "Here, Kiely, pass this, pal. Thanks, pal. Love ya." And it's like, that's how it is. It's not that like that with everyone, as you can see. I mean, we lost a lot of people. I think, when did it start out with 9, 10?
Started off at 9, and
Yeah.
then there
So,
was 5, and then by the time the fucking episode aired, and then there was 4.
yeah, yeah. So, like, it started out with a lot. And it ended up, I think, exactly where we needed to be. I do. My biggest regret is Nivea, that we couldn't keep her.
But
But I
maybe
don't
there's
think
a
that she's
world.
containable, honestly. Like, I don't think
Yeah,
we would have been able to contain her vibe. I think she is a solo artist. She's such a big personality. And that's
I
not to take
agree.
away from any of the members of the group at all.
No,
I'm not taking away
listen.
from any of my girls. I'm not at all taking away from
No,
them. But I just think it's
no.
an uncontainable force that I think she would have been doing herself a disservice, honestly. I wish that she would have left on better terms. But I spoke to her after, because I was crying. I was like, "I'm sorry, what I do? I'm
She
sorry." And she
likes
was like,
you.
"No."
No, she
Yeah,
told
she was
me.
like, "I love
Yeah,
you, mama. This just was not for me. Like, it was just too much.
that's
It
all
was
it
too
was.
much." And her brain can't function like that. And I understand. My brain can function like that because I've been in many girl groups, and this is just like that's why I was always like,
Well, look, you're in the fucking Guinness Book of World Records for an artist being in the most girl groups and successful one. So congratulations, because we love you. And now that we have that established, we have to play a game before I let you go. The rumor mill. Okay, so you got to dispel
"Yay!"
dispel all these rumors and whatever's been happening. Okay, first things
Okay.
first. Did you see months ago a picture that Adrian and Tori posted of themselves, I guess, having dinner, and the hashtag was 2LW, hashtag let the healing begin. Was that
I
shade
did.
towards you?
Yes, it was. I did see it, and it was shade, and I don't care. Go ahead and try it. Look, I am. I don't fuck with either of them. Everybody knows it. Like, they don't fuck with me. Everybody knows it. I was not surprised. Adrian's gonna do whatever she can to get that heat off her back, because she's reinvented herself as some sort of preacher's wife. And it's funny because she always wanted to be a preacher's wife. Like, when we were little, like, and I'm talking, I was 12 when I met Adrian and she was 15. She watched this telenovela, or like, maybe it wasn't a telenovela, but it was a soap opera, and it was called Passions. And yeah, right. She loved this character. I don't remember her name, but she was in her 40s and she was super sexy, and she always wanted to be the sexy pastor's wife. And I was like, "Bitch, you are living your dream. I am not going to be mad at that. Live that dream. Like, live it." I'm all for it. I am for self-actualization, and she has made it happen for herself. So I look at her and go, "Look, you did what you wanted to do." As for Naturi, she's done a lot of harm in my family's life, but it looks like she is happy as well. Not mad at her, because I'm grown. Um, I think, if they want to form 2LW, that would be fun to watch, because they haven't done any singing or any group. like anything like that. It is not shade. I'm very interested to see like what it would be like without me. A lot of people say about me in all of my groups like that I was the most irrelevant member, that like it would have been better without me, and I'm like, okay, well, who would you have had? Like, okay, like I'm interested to see it.
But this is the thing that is so interesting. Because you came back on the Encore, a lot of people started to post old videos of your performances with Cheetah Girls and 3LW and everything else. And everybody was always like, you can't deny her stage presence. You just can't. You
Thank
can
you.
hate her. You can't deny that when this woman is on stage, that's when you suck the air out the room, bitch, because they're just like, all eyes are on you. And that's the thing. Like you said, are you the strongest vocalist? No. Are you the person who's going to sing lead? No. But guess what? It doesn't matter. It's when you accept that I may not be able to do that, but what I can do, I can do better than any bitch on this fucking stage. And you have always proven that. And that's why people give you your flowers. And a lot of people
But that's
miss
what's
you.
hurtful though. But that's also the part that's hurtful. The part that hurts me most is that I've been accused of destroying all of my groups when I see myself as more of the glue that has kept all of them together for the time that it did, because I wasn't trying to steal anybody's parts or their man or their outfits. I was advocating. I mean, you've seen me operate. I advocate for my girls. I will be the one who puts herself in the fire. I've learned that lesson. Okay. But I in my youth, I would jump right in the fire for any of them. So that's one of the things that people say about me, that I destroy groups, that really hurts.
No, you are. And listen, I'm not going to give away behind the scenes stuff because that's between you ladies. But
Carlos, stop talking.
I'm keeping this in. This is hilarious.
No, my sister got a fucking cat. It's living in my basement because she's having her house remodeled. This fucking cat. I've been trying to hold it in this whole time. Okay.
Okay.
You want to hear this nasal? Okay.
That's all good. I
Sorry,
just wanted to say again, I know that when it came to the BluPrint, you were one of the glues because you were always focused on the business. So I'm here to say Kiely definitely is the glue. Okay. Second rumor mill. Did you ever date Raz B from B2K?
date is a loose word. Date is, I wouldn't give that definition. I think I said entanglement with
But
all of them
entanglement
except for
means
Omari.
was the entanglement
I've
at the same
grown. I can admit
time?
it. Everybody has their hoe days. Let them have them. We can look back on them days when we're older and be like, yeah, I was out there thudding.
So
No,
wait.
I got kids. I don't care. It's
So
over.
Keely, Fizz, J Book, Raz B at the same damn time?
Only one time. That's only a one time thing. The other time, the other time. Look, everybody gotta be young. Everybody has to make mistakes. I love that that's gonna be the headlines. Like, Keely's a slut. Yes, that'll be a new one for me.
We're all about female empowerment, baby.
Hey, you need to have a hoe phase.
So have you
And they were
seen
cute
little
back in the day. Come
I
on.
know, of course they were. But now we see they're older. Have you seen Little Fizz's OnlyFans?
No.
Oh.
I've never seen an OnlyFans. Anyone's.
Oh,
I
there's
know it
been a few.
exists.
Okay.
But I've never had the occasion. Um, the pornography that I view is free. Um, I'm more of a homepage kind of gal. I'm, to be honest with you, not really into the keywords. Okay, just scroll the homepage and something will do it. Okay, enough. I hate you. I hate you, Carlos.
I love you so much. Okay, last question. can you confirm with the Swifties, Taylor Swift's team, the Swifties? There's no lawsuit going on with Taylor Swift. With players gonna play, sample, all that.
Well, so if you didn't write the song, you have no claim to it. So 3LW didn't write the song. I didn't write the song. None of the members wrote the song. The producers felt like they were infringed upon. I'm not going to step in and say anything one way or the other because, number one, like, I don't know. I can feel something, but I also have a bias towards my own song, right? I have a bias towards like thinking if like if you say play is gonna play, like that's in my head. But so does R. Kelly, I guess. Like he said it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where that line is. I'm not a judge. I have lawyers in my family. So that's why I was just like, I don't know. I wish them the best of luck in their endeavors. If they could get that coin, that's fine. I'm not seeking the coin. I'm not seeking it. I wouldn't get it. And also, I just didn't understand why I had this mass influx of angry white girls on my page, and it's usually not angry white girls. So I was just like, oh, this is a new demographic. I don't know how to handle it. Okay. Where'd you come from? And then I realized why. So then I made a joke about it because obviously, so somebody sent me something where she's saying promises, and I'm like, oh my God, she's stolen everything from me. And then they got more mad because that's what I do.
Kiely, I love you. Thank you so much.
You.
Listen, you're a mom of two, you're a wifey, creative directing. So I thank you for taking time out to speak to me. I could talk to you all day. You know I love you. And look, we may be seeing Kiely back soon. You don't want to see me in my pajamas on your TV no more. You lying. No, I promise. I'll be clear. I do.
No, I really considered putting on pajamas for this, and I was like, no, let's leave that joke for a little bit later. You know, you could do a sweater for today.
Yeah. Well, love you, baby.
I love you.